Welcome to Silum Comitatus. I'm Kai. We are governed. Our minds are molded. Our tastes formed. And our ideas are suggested, said Edward Bernays. Before we get started, please understand that if you need help right now and don't see any way out, please reach out to somebody and do whatever necessary to come out of it, even if it is taking pills. I hate that idea. But do whatever it is necessary for you to come out of depression. Now, why am I making another video of the many videos about depression? The answer is simple. I think the more, the merrier. Everybody has a different understanding, and perhaps you didn't get what others say and will understand what I'm trying to convey. See, in the time I have living on this earth, I've seen depression go up every year. In the 90s, when the internet started, depression started to rise faster and faster. Now with the COVID pandemic, it has gotten out of hand. Just about a week ago, I heard about a newscaster in Wisconsin that took her life. What's interesting is that they were interviewing her sister, and her sister said that she thought that her sister was the happiest person in the world. And that's exactly what we thought about Anthony Bourdain and Robin Williams. If we think about them, if we think about them, we thought that they had everything. They had nothing to complain about, nothing to be unhappy about, yet they took their lives. There are way too many people that seem to be okay, but they're not. I myself went through that, so I can speak on it. See, for everybody outside, I was the person with the answers. I was the one to help everybody else. I was a traveler, I was a fun guy, I was the leader, but I was really dying inside. I could be surrounded by people the entire day and give them my best face. Inside, well, inside was a different story. Nothing really made sense. I didn't see the point on anything. It didn't matter if that my life looked perfect. I felt totally empty. Totally and absolutely empty. I wanted out. I was in a very dark place. I remember sitting on the floor of my apartment alone, crying the whole day. I felt as if I couldn't bear with the weight anymore. It just so happened that I found solace in whatever I knew about spirituality and metaphysics. I found refuge on that. I started practicing writing my thoughts, even though I didn't feel like doing it. I was in a really dark place. I didn't feel like doing anything. I began to write how great I felt, even though I felt like dying. I took my frustration out on a punching bag. I did future writing, which is, for example, you write as if you were 2 weeks ahead or a month ahead, and you write that, things are going actually your way. This one day I was at my sister's house. My mom and my nephew were there too. I don't really remember what my mom asked me. All I remember is that I started bawling. I cried for a couple of hours and no effort from me could make it stop. I was lucky enough that my family was there though. They hugged me, they brought me water, they talked to me, and they told me everything was going to be okay. I'm so grateful they were there for me. After that day, I continued writing, meditating, etc. But I knew something had shifted. I felt that I had to take all the pain out somehow. And well, I did it that day crying. I was very lucky that that happened in front of my family, and that they were there to look out for me. But not everybody can do that. And unfortunately, the people who need help the most are the young people. Why? Because us adults never took the time to teach them resilience. We are all about ourselves, but we never took the time to teach our kids resilience. Young people nowadays think that life is just about happiness. And if they're not happy, if something happens that doesn't make them happy, they don't know how to deal with it. They break pretty easily. I can't even. I remember saying something to this young person, and you know, you can't even say anything that they don't like because their reaction is actually just to call the police. And like I said at the beginning, we are governed and our minds are molded. Still, there are things that we can do to come out of that. The first thing I think about when I see the depression situation go up like it's going now is who is behind it all? Who is behind the war? Who is behind the depression? Who is behind the COVID? We understand how pharmaceuticals make enormous amount of money making people sick. We also understand how advertisement companies get in our heads and make us buy things we don't even care about. We know that the only reason a kid is going to ask you to buy a new phone is not because she can use it to do something great with it, but because the other kids are using it and she wants to be a part of the group. If she's a part of the group, she's going to be cool. She's going to be one of them. If she doesn't get it, she probably be made fun of. Or like they call it, she's going to be bullied just because she doesn't have a phone like everybody else. In reality, nobody wants to be left out. We can actually go over what the advertisement companies are doing to make people sicker, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to find ways we can help each other to come out of this. One thing is for sure, it is not your brain chemistry that has you in your depression, but it's your brain chemistry that's going to get you out of it. Think about this. Why is it that young women now take pictures with the body turned, showing off their butts? It's not because they are doing it, because it's in, but that's because that's how they get attention and that's how they get acceptance. And yes, I'm focusing more on girls than boys, but this applies to boys too. Women are 11% compared to a 6% of men with depression. We can go about why that is, but we'll not. That's not important right now. What's important is that we find a way to find the exit, to find the silver lining. So, what changed when we started getting connected online? What changed was the touch, the hug, the embrace. That's what changed. We replaced the touch of a person with the touch of a phone. We're constantly caressing the phone. We're constantly caressing the phone. In fact, if we lose the phone, we cry, we go crazy, we go, you know, just ballistic about losing our phone, more than if we lose a family member. We even replace the talking to the other person with just texting, because it takes too much work to just talk. We've met all of our physical and safety needs, but we forget we also have psychological needs that are just as important. Like Maslow stated, we also have love and belonging needs. We need to bond with friends and family. We need to group. We need the group. We are social beings after all. But that need is being replaced by a screen. We've forgotten what it's like to talk with each other instead of talking to each other. I have a very close friend of mine that really almost took her life. She tried actually 3 times to take her life. I remember telling her that I wasn't going to let her go like that. I was going to be there for her. I will call her all the time, very often, and respond her calls whenever she called me. No matter where I was, and no matter if I was sleeping, I would respond her call. I knew she was going through a really hard time, so why not be there for her? There were times I would call her and she wouldn't even respond. I leave her a message hoping that she would hear it and feel a little better at least. This one time she sent me a text. I don't really remember what the text said, but I knew something was happening. It just so happened that that day she had the pills ready in her hands, and she said she was gonna go. She wanted out. She didn't want to live anymore, and she wanted to take her life. To make the story short, I was able to help her come out of that situation. Sometime later, I asked her, "What made you call me when you were on that dark place?" She said, "I know you've always been there for me. I knew you weren't going to judge me. I knew I could just be myself with you. I know I didn't need to pretend. Talking to you felt safe." Those are her words. And that's where we're going with all this. Since we don't know who is depressed and who's not, the least we can do, and that's my invitation to you, is show somebody that you really care. Make some time just come out of your bubble to care about somebody else's well-being. Somebody, talk in person with somebody, show them you care. Talk about their situation, whatever they feel like, whatever they want to talk about. Be an ear. In the end, caring about the other person is going to help you too. We're not an island, and we cannot live like islands as much as society wants us to believe that we are islands. I think about doing something like Alcoholic Anonymous or something like that for depressive people, but I don't have a clear idea about how to go about it. So if you have some ideas, maybe you can contact me and we can talk about it. Maybe we can come up with something so we can help people with depression. So right now, if you need somebody to talk to, I'll be there for you too. I'll post my email below. If you want to reach out, just reach out. You don't have to give me your name, but you can reach out and talk to me. I'll be an ear for you. Let's do this together. We can do it together. I know we can. Let's continue until the lambs become lions. I surely talk to you next time.